Hello, everybody. My name is Badrinarayan and I'm from Bengaluru in India. And I've been playing chess on chess.com for the last 8 years. Recently, I started sharing my journey on YouTube, basically documenting my games, adding commentary on my games, like why I made a particular move, why the opponent could have made a particular move, and so on. And in today's video, I have a cracker of a Traxler game. As you know, Traxler is my preferred counter against the fried liver attack. I read somewhere that it is not very viable beyond a rating of around 1500, but really, even at 2000, right now I'm 2038. Even at this level, I'm finding it to be very what's the word for it? I mean, it's very useful. That's all I can think of. I can't think of any other words now. And in today's game, it was yet another Traxler, and I really thought I had three brilliant moves in a row. As it turns out, not even one of them was a brilliant move. It might have been a great move. It is showing four great moves. But in reality, the game accuracy was quite low. It's chess.com says that I played with an accuracy of 1600. Opening accuracy, okay. Accuracy 90. So why is it putting a question mark about this guy? 82.4. So why is a 90%? And middle game accuracy 41. Yeah, I mean, so it was kind of a mistake, but the thought process behind that was really good. And one video that has really helped improve my thought process is this. Um, this is Remote Chess Academy. I'm sure a lot of you are following it. And he recently gave this video, Four Simple Rules to Dominate Your Opponents, and he put his own name as an acronym for those four rules. If you haven't watched this video, go ahead and watch this. It really helps you in the middle game. Let's close this for now. And by the way, this particular the cup that you are seeing is the only OTB tournament that I have won. It's uh, it's an OTB tournament organized by Chennai Chess Club in Chennai. This is not an official tournament. It was an unofficial blitz tournament organized by them, and I won the second prize in that, and that's why I'm really happy about it. So I'm just putting that as my logo. So let's start the game. Start review, and I'll just rush through the openings. Yep. So there's your fried liver Traxler counter attack. So um, ideally, a Traxler player wants the knight to pick up this pawn. They want this knight to pick this pawn, and then bishop goes and picks up this pawn, and this leads into a lot of complicated attacking ideas, and you need to be on point with every move. It's very tricky, the Traxler. But once the player gets more and more advanced, they start doing this. They capture the pawn with the bishop, and after the king jumps up, the bishop just silently goes back. The white grabbed a pawn. White made sure that opponent can never castle, and white just went back to safety. So this is the idea behind this particular move order, and it's a very strong counter to the counter attack, which is Traxler. But there are a set of moves, there's a set of principles that need to follow here, and that is queen comes here and then goes here, rook comes here, and then we launch an attack on this pawn. You can see straight away that we are lining up three pieces on that poor pawn, poor f7 pawn, and at some point queen will also will jump into the fray, and it's going to be very tricky for black to hold on to that pawn. That is the whole idea behind this particular move. And yeah, so the one thing that people miss here is they bring this queen here, and if you do it, and then this pawn pushes up, and if you don't do anything about it, then bishop comes here and completely traps this queen. You could go here, and then it leads to a discovery attack anyway. So you have to be very careful in this particular move order not to lose your queen. So because that pawn opened up, I instantly brought my rook to what is this, f8. Has two purposes. One is to ensure that this knight can neither this knight nor this bishop can ever come to this square anymore, because I will just capture it, and I will be a rook and pawn down against two minor pieces. And believe me, at this stage of the game, you have a big advantage if you actually were able to make that exchange. Okay, white castles. I bring my queen out, and this one is a mistake. I really don't think so. This is the known idea. And finally, d6. The important move is to do d6. Now we start bringing this bishop out, pinning this knight, and maybe even bringing this knight here, and all those ideas get killed uh, by nc3. Opponent made a slightly different move order. First, they brought the um, bishop to e3, and apparently the engine wants me to go. Let's see, engine wants me to go straight away here, which I don't understand. Um, I really don't like this bishop to get exchanged on this square. I don't mind if it get exchanged here, but sorry, let's put that blue. But it cannot get exchanged here. That is very critical. That is always a big idea with me. But I went back expecting him to exchange immediately. He didn't do that. I brought the bishop out to pin, and this was his mistake. This was the mistake that gave me all my brilliant move ideas. And in fact, the engine already gives a minus 1.3 to black. And this is because black can now sacrifice this knight to bring this rook here. This rook lift is important. This is the only scenario where the advantage is minus 1.3 for black. This idea never came to my head, but I still went queen h5, which was a great move, and a4 was a mistake. And now the engine thinks this is also okay, but after this, this is where I played what I consider to be a brilliant move, but in reality was a mistake. Um, Apparently, the idea is it's a similar idea. The best idea is, like I said, clear out this knight, and then bring this rook here. It is impossible for white to stop this idea. First of all, they can't move this pawn anywhere because wherever they move, I'm just going to clear it out and open up the. This is the H file, right? Yes, this is the H file, and and the only way to stop that is apparently by giving up the queen. I mean, look at the best move on the follow up. What is this shit? Sorry, something happened. Um, yeah, really sorry. Something happened there. I don't know what happened there. Let's see. After bishop d4, after bishop takes bishop, bishop takes bishop, and knight goes there. I am supposed to. Let's see. Wait. Best and follow. And apparently, I'm supposed to give up both the rooks to get that queen. And I'm still minus 2.4 ahead simply because of the bishop pair. This was what I was supposed to do. What I did was what I considered to be equally brilliant, but uh, uh, there were some serious flaws in the thought process. Let's continue. So the first thing I did was I sacrificed the knight. It's not a sacrifice because after pawn takes knight, I I take the knight back. I am taking this knight back with this rook because if he captures, I mean, obviously if he captures with the queen, I just take it back with the bishop. But if he captures even with the pawn, once again I take it back with the bishop, and it's a check to the king, and also it grabs the queen. This was my whole idea here, but apparently this was the wrong move. First of all, in the previous move itself, uh, White should have added a defender to this knight instead of taking this knight for free. They missed that, which gave me this brilliant move. I mean, I consider it as a brilliant move. Okay, and this was a blunder. This was a blunder. At this point, our material has been equalized, and I do have some lot of advantages here. And he should have just accepted that. But instead, he brought this queen out. I think I don't know. Like I mean, yeah, okay. So this queen needs to move now because otherwise, I'm just going to bring. If the queen doesn't move, I bring the rook here. It's a massive attack on this pawn, and there's also a discovery attack with the bishop. So the queen cannot stay there, and they bring it upstairs one step so that they maintain the attack on this bishop. Now two pieces are attacking this bishop, and they and it's and white is going to get up material. That's the whole idea that white thought. And here I waited. How long did I wait? Let's see. How long did I take to make the next move? Okay, I don't want to click the next move. I really don't want to click the next move. So let's just wait. So my entire thought process was, oh wait. Uh, okay. So first of all, I'm going to save this bishop. My first idea was that, and once again, I considered this as a brilliant move because not, I was giving up the rook for free. But the idea is that even here, if they take the rook like this, bishop takes a pawn, and it's a check to the king. The king has only one move, which is to go here, and then queen comes here, and it's a checkmate. This was my idea, and I didn't want to lose a pawn here, which is the reason why I just gave up the rook. I knew that he could not capture it, and opponent really did not capture it. Um, yeah, Engine just wants you to bring this knight. Engine thinks that if the knight is brought back, this entire attack goes for a toss. He didn't do that, so I still had a massive attack. And here I came up with my next brilliant sequence. My first idea was sacrifice the rook. Really, the idea is that if he captures the rook, bishop comes here, gives a check. Okay, now if the king moves here, queen comes here, and it's basically a lawless mate. This was my only idea. Or bishop goes here. Sorry, first queen captures the rook. Bishop goes here, check. Queen captures. Queen captures back. And from an equal material, I gave up a rook and a bishop for a queen, which means that I am hurt. This was my idea. What I failed to figure out was after queen captures rook, bishop gives a check. Queen doesn't need to take the bishop here because now there is no queen h3. Sorry, there is no queen h3 because after the queen goes to h3, then this queen can take the bishop. And how long did I take this? Let's see. Yeah, I did spend a minute and a half analyzing this sequence, and I completely missed this move. And as a result, I knew that it was game over. Uh, but um, okay, the engine gives only 1.5 to white, and I really thought that it was hopeless for black. And okay, it's gone, but I just continued the game. After king moves sideways, I brought my rook to support the bishop. Now, obviously, this queen can go here and deliver the checkmate. The problem is black can clear this rook out of the way, bring this queen here, and there's no longer this checkmate. First, black moves the rook, and even if you bring the queen here, this queen comes here, and there is no longer any checkmate on g2. And this was the sequence that the opponent missed. Opponent missed this, and from then on, hopefully, no, I still made mistake. Okay, so the engine thinks that at this point I should just take whatever material I can get and go forward. And but my mind was only on lolly. This is called as the lolly's mate, by the way, where queen and a diagonal piece gives the checkmate on g2 or g7, either way. So now king comes here, and and at this point, my mind was fully on lolly. When you go lolly, go full lolly. That was my only thought process. And here, the opponent made the final fatal mistake. Rook a d1. I don't even understand what is the point of rook a d1. Um, at this point, I was actually expecting the rook to originate a rook, but that doesn't make sense either because of bishop coming and hitting this pawn. Or or maybe something with the queen, like maybe come here and threaten this. But the fact of the matter is, opponent made a huge mistake when they did h4. First of all, at this point itself, they could have done this, and at least here, after I bought my queen here, at least here the rook should have cleared out and brought the queen in. I guess, but in this position, if the rook clears out of the way or whatever, I just pick up this pawn, and that is why queen went to here. King went to h2. But the final mistake was committed. Pawn takes pawn, and he okay. So this was the point. Yeah, I forgot. Now I remember. The idea was sacrifice the knight to get two pawns. Knight takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, queen takes pawn with check supported by the rook, and then a huge and okay, this is a huge attack first of all, because now the king has only this square. Oh, that was the point, but the problem was check. Okay, check. This is m2 because now the king has only one square to go, which is g1, and after g1, pawn takes f2 with a double check. Queen is giving a check here. Pawn is sorry, not that one. The middle one. Queen is giving a check. Pawn is giving a check. The only option for black is to go here. At which point, queen triumphantly jumps to g2 and gives a checkmate. Like I said, I really thought that here this was a brilliant move. This was a brilliant move. This was a brilliant move. And finally, this was a brilliant move. I thought all four of them were brilliant moves. And in reality, mistake, miss, and a blunder. And this was definitely a blunder. And from this point on, the opponent just made their own set of blunders and gave the game back to me. But I really don't agree to these three moves. I think these three were solid moves itself. With the only caveat that knight takes bishop was the only issue, but I think I still stand by these three moves. That's all is what I'll say. The rest of them, obviously, yeah, I really, I mean, I made this move, I gave this check, and only then I figured out, oh my god, what a blunder. Yeah, this that's about this game. I just once this game was done, I knew instantly I had to show it to you people. Let me know what you liked about this game, and more importantly, what you didn't like about this game. Thank you.